If a transgender person exists, how does that affect you personally?
It doesn't affect me if they exist, but it affects me if they try to have me lose my job, cancel me, do whatever they want to put me at a lower level. And that's not right because I exist too. This is America, and I feel like people just,
But you have the right to exist. Shouldn't they have the right to exist and live their life any way they please?
well, listen, people are starting to be a bunch of crybabies.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is America. We
Well,
argue,
but
we fight.
you're like
So-
no offense, but like sounds like you're crying about transgender stuff right
I
now.
am crying about it, and the
Okay.
transgender people are crying too. That's America, so people need to just man up and, you got a problem, settle it, argue about it, and walk away. You don't have to cancel people. You don't have to put people.
But aren't
in
you
jail.
trying to cancel them? Like not let them be who they want to be?
No, he's not.
Honestly, sometimes these people just seem like they're drunk or like they haven't slept in a couple of days and like they can't quite gather their thoughts. Like they're almost there, it's on the tip of their tongue, but they just, they lost it.
What do you think is more dangerous to the country, drag or guns?
Drag for sure.
How come?
It's poisoning the youth. That's what's going to run our country. It's scary.
But
Guns is my right. I know how to handle them. I've taken training. I've raised my kids. Guns are our primary. It's our right, our Second Amendment right that I refuse to give up, and many of our people refuse to give up.
not even just talking about. I'm just talking about the danger. You talked about how it's poisoning our
Keeps away
kids.
from law-abiding citizens, and the thugs and the criminals are still going to have their guns. I want to be able to protect myself from a thug or a criminal. I want to protect, if I'm in a school visiting my grandkids and there's a shooting, I want to be able to pull out and stop.
But
the
you,
person.
you just said it. If there's a school shooting, as far as I can tell, people haven't died from drag, and that's why I asked the question.
Look at the transvestite that went in and did the school shooting. Come on, it's a mental health. It's mental health is what it is. The mental health, and the books that are in our schools. So many things have got to change in our country, and Trump is making the change, and he's my president, and Biden, he don't even acknowledge in my brain as president.
What's a bigger problem for America, do you think, drag or guns?
Drag.
And why is that?
I would not want my kids to be anywhere around drag.
But what about guns and people, buying them and assault weapons and all the death it causes versus drag, which, let's face it, not a lot of people die from drag.
Well, then I think that's how people get mentally ill with all the drag stuff that's going on. Weapons are not going to walk out of the house and kill people. People do it.
So following that logic, drag would make people sort of sick in the head and lead them to get a gun and do something.
I believe so, yes.
I believe that people should express themselves how they want, but in the privacy of their own homes. I don't believe that they should push it on to people. And for the question about guns, I believe that we should kind of stick to the Second Amendment.
I feel like putting the wrong thing on kids, especially how they're doing it nowadays, how they put it out as, it's an option, and then, they really say like this is how you're supposed to be, rather than whether it's like, well, you can fall into this category and be this kind of person. It's kind of crazy now how they're pushing it on them rather than just putting it out there as like, you can act this way if you want to.
Cancel culture is not real. It's just a bunch of people griping. I mean, look, if there's any more proof that you need that cancel culture doesn't actually exist, it's the fact that Donald Trump is still in a good position to become president, okay? I mean, this man has dozens and dozens of felony charges, right? He's in the middle of all these court cases, and yet and still millions of people want him to be in office, and unless he's thrown in prison, which almost certainly is not going to happen, then he can still become president. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, you got the Lauren Boeberts, they still out kicking it. You know what I mean? I mean, how many of these famous celebrities do we know who claim to have been canceled, but they ain't canceled? In fact, when they say they're canceled, it's when they're getting the most amount of traffic. Look, I guess if you get fired from a job, that's an official way to be canceled. If you get thrown into prison, yeah, then you're canceled because you can't do anything. But as long as you have access to platforms and people have access to you, ain't nobody canceled. You know, especially not now. So it's just always hilarious to see them gripe about that, because the reality is that you can do pretty much anything you'd like here. I mean, if you get kicked off YouTube, you can go to Rumble. You know, you can go to Kick. You can go to all these other platforms that don't give a damn until it's time to make some money.